Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach Landon, back with another episode of Beyond Tomorrow Recruiting. Today, we're going to talk to Coach Riley Grandinetti, head coach over at Southwestern Oregon Community College, better known as SWOCC in the NWAC. We're going to talk to him a little bit about the mentality of getting to that level, what he looks for when he's recruiting players, and a few other things. So go ahead and sit back, enjoy the video, take some notes. Let's run this intro and we'll jump into some questions. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach Landon, back with another episode of Beyond Tomorrow Recruiting. Today, we have Southwest Oregon Community College coach Riley Grandinetti on. He's going to answer some questions, going to give you guys some insight, and we're going to do a couple really cool comparisons and get his input on it. So, Coach, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
Well, first, thanks for having me today. I'm looking forward to it. I know we scheduled this earlier and I had to reschedule, so I appreciate you rescheduling with me. But yeah, my name's Coach Riley Grandinetti at Southwestern Oregon Community College down here in Coos Bay, Oregon. It's a beautiful sunny day on the Oregon coast right now, so it's a nice place to be. I've been here. I actually played here in 2011, originally from Murray, Utah. So that's why we get a lot of Utah players here, every year. But played for Coach Workman at Murray High School in 2011 and came over here and started playing for Coach Hop at SWOCC and played here 2 years, transferred over to Pacific University up in Portland, Oregon, and played there 2 years, graduated, and assistant coaching job was open here, and I reached out to Coach Hop, and that's where I started my coaching journey and was here for 5 seasons as an assistant coach. Did all the recruiting for the last 3 years of that, and he eventually, stepped down, wanted to do a different role in coaching and moved across country. And I stepped in during that COVID time in 2020 as the head coach, and have been the head coach now. Just completed my 4th year as the head coach here. So really, really enjoy it. This is a place where I want to be and will continue to be for a while.
Very nice. Very nice. So I like that you mentioned your role was different as the assistant coach. I know a lot of JUCOs, our JUCO, and when I was at Blue Mountain, and even when I was over at Colorado Northwestern, we only have one assistant coach. So our assistant coach handled a lot of the recruiting stuff until it got to the closing phases when head coaches stepped in. Kind of talk a little bit about your role as a head coach as far as recruiting, home visits, going out and watching games in comparison to what you assign to your assistant coach, or do you guys kind of double team things, or how does that work at your level?
With us, we do it all different kind of ways. I'm blessed where I have, I have two really, really good assistant coaches right now. Coach Jordan Highland, who will definitely be a head coach here soon. He's kind of my main right-hand man kind of guy. He does a lot of the recruiting too. We bounce ideas off each other, and I'll send him to showcases. I'll go to showcases. Then I also have a local guy named Coach Cameron Lucero, who played here as well. That kind of does all the local recruiting and the state of Oregon recruiting. But Coach Highland does a lot of the recruiting right now, just kind of finding names for me. And just, the contacts have been pretty 50-50 when it comes to that. I'm kind of handling out who's getting the offers and who fits our program a little bit better than others, but it's pretty good a duo right now. It's funny, this last year recruiting was a weird year for us because we actually have 6 return missionaries coming to play on our team next year. So the recruiting this year has been a little relaxed compared to what it has been in the past, because we knew we had those 6 guys coming in. So, but 50-50, it's changed. When I first took over, I had an assistant coach. He actually living down in Florida now, but where he was doing a lot of the phone calls and setting up the phone calls, and then I would step in during the phone calls and stuff. But it definitely changes throughout the years, the junior college level. But I would say as the head coach, I'm doing a lot of the, connecting with the players and texts and phone calls at nights.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. I kind of want to talk a little bit about off the court kind of things that you look for. And this is such a broad spectrum, so I'll just kind of ask an open-ended question and let you kind of take it and run with it. So in the sense of off the court, when you're recruiting players, there's so many things that can go into it. It can be things like social media presence, talking to AAU coaches or even their high school coaches, communication. Are they direct messaging you through Twitter or X, or are they sending you a direct email? Are they picking up the phone old school and just calling and leaving a voice message to get your attention? Kind of talk a little bit about the things that stand out, two or three things that stand out for you when there's a kid out there, whether he's interested in getting on your recruiting list or you found him through, a third party or referral or something, and he kind of gets onto your recruiting list. What are two or three things that you really check pretty close going into that recruiting process?
Yeah, I would just say, when we're communicating with that athlete, how are they responding? Are they taking days to respond? Are they responding within the same day we text? And I get everybody's busy. Um, but I don't love reaching out over social media. There's sometimes I'll shoot, direct messages on Twitter or Instagram and stuff to get somebody's contacts and stuff. But I don't like having conversations through social media. I'd rather have the conversation through text messaging or phone calls, and just is that athlete able to carry on a conversation? Because I'm not the type of recruiter. I'm not going to just start, recruiting and telling them everything that we have to offer here in our facilities and stuff. I actually want to get to know the kid and see what their hobbies are and how their family life is, and can that player, carry on a conversation that's not just basketball oriented. That's what I'm kind of looking for with that. I'm asking how their grades are. I'm asking if they're going to school dances. Are they playing in other sports too? Because that's stuff that we look at. And I want students that just aren't athletes. I want them to be students too. I want them to be good people. I want them to be going to their school dances and having fun. And because that's what it is here. At SWOCC, we're one of the only community colleges in Oregon that actually has on-campus student living. And for our atmosphere to create here, we need students that are wanting to be part of a community, and especially a small community. We have 400 students that live on literally one street here. That is connected to our campus, and we want them to be involved. We want them to have friends, and we want them to be a college student. So not just only thing they care about is basketball kind of thing. That's some things we really look for. And social media is huge nowadays. We want, there's a lot of, it's crazy that some kids don't even know what Facebook is, but it's all X and Instagram now. And yeah, we want them to be, have a good presence on there and stuff, but also being able to just be able to stay away from that, and not only thing they do is be on that all day long. Um, it's crazy nowadays. You look at some athletes' phones and they'll have 200 unread text messages, but if they get an Instagram message, they're going to respond to that really quick.
Yeah.
So I like the old school way of text messages.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you made a comment about on-campus housing. I know
Mhm.
that that's kind of a big thing that differentiates four-year schools from two-year schools, but I know there's a lot of NJCAAs that have that opportunity, especially in the more rural areas. And then a lot of the JUCOs or smaller schools, two-year schools, may not have that. I know that's a big differentiator
Yeah.
between some of the two-year programs. A lot of people draw different comparisons for whatever reason between NJCAA schools and NWAC schools. I've played on both sides. I understand the level of competition is there. I've seen a lot of kids that got interest from NJCAA schools end up committing to NWAC schools. As a coach and being on the inside of this kind of two-sided debate, give your input on why people kind of don't give the NWAC the credit they deserve when they're getting the same players that some of these top 15 JUCOs and NJCAA are getting.
I think that's a big question, because I know there's everyone's going to have different opinion on it. And I think the biggest thing is, the NWAC schools, it was about 6 years ago, I think 6, 7 years ago, where we couldn't offer outside of the West Coast states. In Utah, for instance, we couldn't used to offer that. When I played here, I didn't get a scholarship because I was from Utah. So I had to find different ways. I was a resident assistant to be able to pay for some of my college. And now it's changed where the NWACs, we can offer scholarships anybody in the country, even internationally. They still got to pay the international rates, but we can offer anywhere now. And I think that's slowly start to turn now that the NJCAAs, we're getting some of the same players because we're able to offer them now.
Mhm.
And I think, I was talking to a school in North Carolina the other day, and I had to explain to them what the NWAC was because they just don't know what it is. And then now the level that we're getting, you see some of the players in the NWACs now compared to what we had 10 years ago. It's pretty remarkable, the athletes and the players that we have. And, you know, I was watching the NCAA tournament this year, and there was a kid that played on Clackamas that was playing for Montana State, and he's one of their best players, Robert Ford. And, then we got a kid from Green River just signed with Holy Cross. Like the NWAC's got players that are going Division 1 and Division 2. Our point guard, Ocean Casimiro, is going Western Oregon Division 2, and he's from a small town in Hawaii. Like we're sending players to all different levels right now, and the NJCAAs are unbelievable programs, especially the ones in Utah. 3 that are usually nationally ranked every year, and so it's NWAC kids are those players are starting to go NWACs now because they just want to play, and they're going to go to places they're gonna play and get seen. And that's the biggest thing. Go to where you're going to play and get seen, because it only takes one coach to give you a chance at the next level afterwards.
Exactly. Just takes one. I love it. Um, Earlier you had mentioned the fit, like kids being the right fit in correlation to other aspects of the recruiting process. And I love this question because I've I think I've asked 18 different coaches this and I've gotten 18 different answers. And a lot of the kids that watch these videos will text me or message me after because they really like when I ask this question. But for Southwest Oregon, what is the right fit type of player? And we're not talking, a 40% shooter in game or a double guy. Personality wise, character wise, just the essence of who the player is. What is the right fit to be recruited by Southwest Oregon?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best questions you can probably ask too, is because I think every coach is going to give you a different answer to this, and we're all going to say, yeah, of course, we want to get that 25-point score and that type of thing. Everybody wants that, but we want guys here that I kind of answer with my the other question too. We want guys that want to be involved with things outside of just basketball too. Um, we want them, of course, to be living in the gym and getting shots up, playing open runs when they can, but also guys that on a nice sunny day, they want to go hang out with their friends and go to the beach and stuff here, not just want to be in the gym 24/7. Because what good does that do for you if you're in the gym 24/7, not working on the things that you're supposed to be working on if you're just in here just messing around? And we're going to recruit the positions too. Some people say basketball is a positionless sport, and at times, yes, it is. But we categorize it in 3 positions. We categorize the point guard, categorize the wings, and then the bigs. And we want to find the best for those positions and guys that can come off. Our point guards, we need them to be very good in the pick and roll situation, because that's what we do a lot of pick and roll heavy stuff, and we look for the right fit for that. The wings, we look for guys that can create their own shot, can make open shots when they're there, and take the right ones as well. We prioritize taking the right shot every possession, and we look for bigs that are demanding of the ball but strong, physical, and guys that just want to compete every single day. So the right fit for us is guys that just want to be around people and be involved, and just good people overall too. We look for good grades as well. Team GPA of a 3.3 this last year, and that's huge for us. We want to continue to maintain that, and just enjoy being a basketball player.
So you had made a comment about positionless basketball. I know a lot of these kids are so skilled and it's hard to pigeonhole a post player into a traditional back to the basket player because some of these kids have range out to 10, 15 feet, and some stretch fours are shooting threes. Some wings super athletic, but they're also really good defenders. And I think the 3 and D guy is kind of fading away because even your 3 and D guy can go catch an alley oop or
Yeah.
goaltend shot just to remind guys that he could get up and erase a lazy bad shot. So I think it's positionless to an extent, but even in today's game, I feel like what was a traditional point guard, a pass first guy, the John Stockton types. Now we have point guards that can get you 10 or 12 points and run your team and manage a 3-1 assist to turnover ratio once they understand the system. So the basketball IQ and the expectations, I feel, just keep going up more and more as these kids get bigger and faster and more athletic and more skilled. But at the same time, and I run my AAU program and our high school program, I run it the same way, where I have my primary ball handlers who understand they're kind of an extension of me on the court. And then I have my wings, who are usually my primary scorers and my primary defenders on the other team's best players. And then my post guys just kind of, they got to take care of everything close to the basket and contesting shots without fouling, rebounds, offensive rebounds, putbacks. Um, we have a lot of guys that want to rebound and kick it out. And I say, hey, who's got the better shot? The guy standing 18 feet from the basket or you
Mhm.
feet from the basket? So you got to go back up. And so, yeah, that side of the game is always evolving and changing. But I coach it the same way you do. I really break it down into 3 positions: my ball handlers, my wings, and my post. So, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes I like that too.
And we're not scared to, 3 point, throw out 3 point guards on the court at once too.
Yeah,
Um, especially this next group that we have right now on our board, we probably have 3 to 4 point guards coming in, and I think all those guys can play at the exact same time just because of their skill set that they have. Uh,
yeah,
we signed a kid from Murray this year, Quentin Chrisman, that I think he could play the 1 or the 2, just because of how well he defends and he just does things differently. Even though he was the point guard for Murray all year, I wouldn't be scared to throw him in at the wing for us too, just because he does so many different things, which we're really excited about.
yeah. Versatility's super important in
Yeah.
today's game. Um, so right now, towards the end, we kind of open up a segment that I call the fourth quarter. It's just kind of an open mic for you. Just any information that you'd like to give the parents watching this, the players watching this. I have a ton of sophomores, juniors going into that senior and junior year that are playing at different levels. And they always love to hear advice from coaches at the level that they're trying to get to, which is really why I like to do these interviews with you guys. So um, it's open mic time. It's fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say? Any knowledge? Any cheat codes you want to give them from the
Yeah.
coach standpoint at the next level? Now's your time.
My biggest things that I always tell kids when they ask me for advice is you got to do something different than other people. Um, the amount of emails that us college coaches get for players right now is pretty remarkable. I would say, I mean, I'm at least getting 15 to 20 emails a day on incoming players. And I read every single one, even if it's a recruiting database, I'll still read every single one. I'll watch the film because you just never know. And but that player needs to do something different. There's a lot of 6'1", 6'2" guards out there right now. And what are you doing in the gym that is different than the other kid? Are you able to come off ball screens and shoot off the dribble? Because that's like almost a lost art nowadays. Um, are you able to, do a simple slide dribble 3 right now? Are you able to get to the basket and finish not just a Euro step? Because I think the Euro step is too common now.
Mhm.
Are you doing something different? And then when you're sending the film, are you personalizing your emails or your messages? Us college coaches can tell if it's a copy paste and changing the coach's name. And personalize every single email that you send out to coaches. Take that time to invest into that coach's program and learn something about their program. I would say 80% of every athletic website for the colleges have their coaches' bios and what they pride themselves in their program. I always tell kids, read the coaches' bios, read about them, make your emails and your text messages personal, because that makes a connection with the coach already. I don't, I want to see your stats, of course, don't just tell me you average, 14 points. I want to know everything. I want to know your shooting percentages. I want to know what you shoot from the foul line. I want to know how many turnovers you have, all that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that we look at. because stats don't lie, and wins and losses don't lie too. Go be on a team that, you're averaging 12 points, but you're also winning 20 games. That says a lot about a player. And sometimes I know in high school you just can't control the team you're playing on, so I get it. And then when you're playing AAU, you gotta still play the right type of basketball. I know AAU can get definitely a little crazy and gets a little one-on-one-ish. But I'm looking when I'm going to AAU games, I want to see if they're playing right basketball. Are you in the right spot defensively? Are you making that secondary, rotation when you need to defensively? That's the stuff that we're really looking for. And like I said from the beginning, man, I want kids and players to not just be a basketball player. I want them to be a person and not just a robot about basketball. Go to your school dances, go, be on the track team if you don't play any other sports. I love multiple sport athletes. I think that's huge. I think that builds, hard work and dedication. I was a two-sport college athlete. I know how hard it does, how it takes, and I played baseball in high school as well. So like that's the stuff that I look for in athletes.
I love it. So this is overtime. We'll call this overtime past the fourth quarter, but we got one more. Give your input or your opinion on the theory of the repetition gap, in the sense of two kids are playing basketball and then this kid goes off and works on baseball. This kid's in the gym playing basketball, and then they come back the following season. They both play basketball. This kid goes and plays football. This kid plays basketball, and they come back. As a multi-sport athlete, how much harder is it to excel in multiple sports versus putting your time and energy into all those reps, those extra reps, in one sport?
It's all about time management. You could do it. And, we have players on our team that have done all different sports and have played all three sports. And now I get it. When you get to your junior and your senior year, you probably are focusing on one sport most likely. Even if you're that basketball player and then you go off to play baseball, you're not probably putting as much work in the baseball time. You're still playing, but you're not the, number one, number two hitter on your team. You might be the 6, 7 hitter. But in some cases, some kids they got that raw talent where they can do both, and they're very good at both. And those are the special athletes that we look for. So, but it's, if kids are just one sport basketball, it's not a bad thing either. And, if they love the game and they, played other sports growing up, that's fine too. So
There you have it. Coach, I really appreciate your time. I know that this has been a while in the making. I know I messaged you during the season, and
yep.
we've been in touch a few different times, but I really do appreciate your time, being able to give these kids and the players and the parents of the players some insight from the next level. So I really do appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I appreciate everything you're doing for the athletes in Utah, and keep doing what you're doing.
Definitely. Hopefully hopefully we'll catch up soon, and maybe if you're out here visiting family or on a recruiting trip or something, we can get together and we go to lunch or something.
Yep. I'll be there in a month, man, recruiting and seeing family around. So I'm excited.
I'll be here. Let me know when you're in town.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.